The FBI tells us there are 33,000 gangs that are entrenching themselves in our inner cities, suburbs, and rural communities, and New Mexico is not immune to this clear and present danger. In fact, according to the website stopalbuquerquegangs.org, there are nearly 180 known gangs in the metro. In his book, Gangster to Doctor, Dr. Ray Ransom shares his compelling story about his journey from life on the streets to becoming one of the country's top experts on overcoming dangers and adversity. And we are fortunate enough to have Dr. Ransom join us this morning. Doctor, thank you so much for being here. Just talking briefly, this is a very compelling story. Can you tell us about the path that set you on to joining a gang?
Yes. At age 16, I'd actually become involved in martial arts at age 12. 4 years later, I was approached by a gang of bullies who I ended up turning the tides on. And I got such a good upper hand on them that they decided to go to the gun route. And that being the case, I had to go to the gun route, and we ended up in shootouts and gun battles at that age. At 17, I was able to graduate from high school, but just barely, because my mother never knew that I was actually involved in a gang. I went to school during the daytime. She worked at night, and I had gang activity while she worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And from that, I decided to actually do what was necessary to survive, and that was to go ahead and become a father at an early age, and made a commitment at that point to be a father at an early age, at 21. From there, things were okay. I was successful to the point of getting involved with real estate. And by the time I was 25, I was worth $4.6 million.
Wow.
But the problem was the economy. It went bad, and I ended up losing everything, and decided to go back into a gangster lifestyle of selling drugs as an international drug dealer.
Wow.
That ended up with me being incarcerated for 17 years of my life.
Huh.
And yeah.
Now during that time, you were saying while you were in prison, you decided that you wanted to pursue your education again. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So let's talk about that journey from really overcoming almost every obstacle imaginable, to becoming a doctorate. I mean, that's amazing. Can you talk about that journey?
Yes, went into prison with 44 credit hours, decided I would not leave like most people leave prison with nothing to show, and decided to pursue and get the highest level of education I could.
Okay.
And during that time, I earned my BA, MBA, and PhD.
Wow.
And in addition to that, before leaving, I pursued a EDD in education and all up to the dissertation point, and a MA in humanities up to the thesis point, but didn't have the money to finish those last 2 degrees.
Okay.
And came out with that PhD in business administration.
Wow, that's amazing. And you said that you also your doctorate, you specialize in real estate for inner city. What was it exactly?
I have a PhD in business administration. My area of expertise is real estate in high crime areas.
High crime areas. That's fantastic. Now, what will viewers learn from reading your book? Or readers learn from reading your book?
There are at least 20 lessons in there in terms of how to succeed in life when you face the most adverse circumstances. Something even as simple as education. I even show how, while in prison, I was able to acquire a 3rd year of college with just $300 using certain techniques in prison from accredited schools.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. That's amazing.
Yes.
Well, now one thing that I'm curious about, being a parent, and I know a lot of folks out there, we get nervous about this as parents. What sort of signs should we be looking for to make sure that our kids are not at risk? And do you have any advice on tools that we can use to keep our kids safe?
Well, there are many signs, but there are also 5 things that they can do, parents can do to save a child from the street of being in a gang. But some of the signs are, you would see any change in your child in terms of speech patterns, talking on the cell phone in code, changing the way they dress, having an affinity for certain colors. I mean, things of the nature in which they would have different haircuts with certain symbols and signs, tattoos on the bodies and things of that nature. But the 5 things that a parent shouldn't do to save a child, that they must do to save a child, would be, one would be you would have a source of alternative income, because gangs draw the children in as a result of the money and the lucrative things from the illicit sales. Find that child a job. Make your child get a job. That child's at least 16 years of age. If not, find a martial arts program of some kind, or a weightlifting program would make them feel good about themselves. A would be an alternative environment. Get the kid outside of that environment, 100-mile radius away at least. And V would be visit death. Kids really do need to see death up close and in person. Take them to more funerals so they can see the way they will be if they stay in the gang.
Huh.
E would be educate with prisoners. Prisoners are the best educated because they have been there and they
Sure.
are there, and they don't mind telling the kids, get on that prisoner's visiting list.
Right.
And go in and take that kid and have that visitor, that kid visit that prisoner.
Uh-huh.
U is unconditional love. You must show that to the child. Hug that child before that child leaves, and when that child comes back in. They don't get enough of that, so they go to the gangs for that.
Right. Wow. So there's a bit of scaring straight, but also really just embracing your kids and letting them
Exactly.
know that you love them. Well, this is all great information. How can our viewers find a copy of your book? How can we get this?
The book is available at gangstertodoctor.com.
Gangstertodoctor.com. You can see it on our screen right there, ladies and gentlemen. Doctor, thank you so much. This
Thank
is
you for
really
having me.
compelling
Yes,
information,
thank you.
and congratulations on all your success. And it truly is an inspirational story.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We'll be right